We appreciate your patience a little bit, and we will get started here momentarily. I think we've got like over 200 folks that's going to be tuning in, so we welcome everybody.
Wow.
This is like them coming in from the waiting area, Elio. We got to wait till they all get seated and get ready to go here. So,
Come on over. I like that. That's a great analogy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Please, you sit down, sir. Not there. There is. You're not allowed to sit there. Please move right there. No, that's my seat. That's my family seat.
Sir, can I see your tickets?
Yes.
All right. I think everyone is here, and we are good to go. Hey, first of all, good evening from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, and thank you for joining us for our latest IMS Museum Zoomcast. My name is Dave Furst from IndyCar and the NTT IndyCar Series. Obviously, we'd much rather welcome you to the museum for an in-person Distinguished Speaker Series event, but we hope that you're going to enjoy our Zoomcast just as much and really have as much fun as you folks are as we are sharing this opportunity. Before we get started, just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. All audience member microphones will stay on mute, and you'll only be able to see Elio and me, so unfortunately you won't be able to hear you, but we've got some questions, and we encourage you folks to submit some more questions throughout the course of the next hour. The event is being recorded, and we'll share it on the IMS Museum YouTube page very soon. We'll also ask a favor. You'll receive a survey from Zoom after this event. This is now the museum's 5th Zoomcast with a legendary Speedway personality, and we want to continue to improve our product. So please tell us what you think. And many people aren't aware, but the IMS Museum is a 501c3 nonprofit and independent from Penske Entertainment, which means we rely on you, our fans, for the financial support to operate and build for the future. So please take a few minutes to learn how you can support us by becoming a member, by making a donation, or just visiting. Go to indyracingmuseum.org and click on join and give. And a couple other things for you as well. Our new basement tours are receiving rave reviews. If you'd like to see the museum's hidden automotive treasure trove, email tours@brickyard.com for more information. And finally, we're obviously excited to have a legend of the Brickyard here with us tonight, and we've got another A-list legend joining us. Our next Zoomcast coming up in March. We'll talk about that at the end of the program here tonight. All right, well, tonight's guest rarely needs an introduction around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He came onto the scene back in 2001 and stole the hearts of race fans right from the start, a 3-time winner of the Indianapolis 500, joining us from a much warmer locale, I can guarantee you, than Indianapolis, Indiana. We say good evening to Helio Castroneves. Helio, good evening, my friend.
Thank you so much, Dave. What a thrill to be here with all of you, especially from the museum. I love your background. My background's not as nice as yours, as you can see. I love that. I don't know what you guys did, but it looks really shiny. The last time I saw that trophy, it looks really. Were you out there shining yourself?
Yes, I was here at noon trying to shine it up just for this.
Great job. I have three other ones, not here I'm in Atlanta right now, but I have 3 other ones that you can help me out. So maybe you can come one day for Florida.
Yeah.
When you mentioned that you were in that very cold weather, well, yes, I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's not as hot as Florida, but it's warmer than you guys. What's the temperature you have right there, Dave?
It's about 20 degrees, maybe, Fahrenheit, of course, and it snowed like a good inch today, and I think we're getting some more later tonight. So
here at least it's 59, 58, so it's not that bad.
Hey, you used to live in Columbus, Ohio, so you know what this weather's all about.
Hey, don't say anything about Columbus, Ohio, because now Columbus, Ohio is the home of my new team, Mears Racing. So I'll be there at Indianapolis this year with the new team. I can't wait to be there with the new guys.
So much to get to here over the next hour or so, but I want to begin. I mentioned 2001, your rookie year here at the Speedway. Does it seem like that long ago, or does it seem like yesterday when you were here at that rookie season?
It's funny. It does seem quite a long time. However, every time I look at it, I remember exactly the details of that win, which was absolutely incredible. It was one of the toughest one because, first of all, I didn't know much about it. I did, by the way, back then we did not have YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all this. So my way.
We barely had color television back in 2001.
Don't go push that hard. But anyway, no question, there was a very difficult way for understand, like have a knowledge, or it's not like you just go on YouTube, you look to the races in the back, and it's like, oh, this is what they did. So my way of kind of like understand was actually asking the experienced guys, which was the good old times, let's say, Bobby Answer, AJ Foy. I spoke with John Rutherford, Alan Senior, and of course, the biggest one that's in my team, or back used to be in my team, or I used to be in his team, Rick Mears. And having conversation with them, it was extremely important for me to understand what I need to do to capitalize, at Indy 500, especially because I ran an oval. I back then, I remember, but a lot of people don't know, Indianapolis in 2001 was my first ever oval win. So that was, I was actually doing my homework to make sure, what do I need to do to win that race? And well, I guess it paid off.
Well, refresh my memory, didn't you hit the wall like in testing or early in practice that month? I mean, were you struggling with the track up until that point, or at least the setup, or we're just getting, trying to figure out your way around the place?
I don't remember that, Dave. I don't know what was wrong with your memory. I mean, it was incredible. It was flawless. No, yes, you are right. Why do you have to bring those things, Dave?
But that's part of the story, though, I think, because you hit the wall and we're like, okay, this guy, how much experience does he have on an oval? Obviously, you were experienced when it came to the road and street courses, but who was this guy? And you kind of proved everybody wrong.
All joke aside, of course, I do remember that. In fact, it came out a nickname, the Castroneves, because I ended up painting the wall. Actually, Tim Cindric played a prank on me because he said everybody that brushed the wall or hurt the wall or damaged the paint job, the guy got to go back and paint. So I ended up going there after practice, painting the wall. And but anyway, it was interesting point that you mentioned, that story, because it really gave me a big respect and perspective of this place, how incredible and how difficult it is. Because and back then we used to stay the whole entire month. So I was there for a long time, and everything was the same. I was flat out, no problem. And I was getting overconfident. So we just put new tires that day. But the only difference is the wind changed, the wind direction changed. So it was actually pushing to turn one. And I didn't expect. I thought everything was going to be okay with the new tires. And as soon as I went flat out with full confidence, the car pushed and I went straight to the wall. Thank God it was interesting. It was a hard hit, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But it was a perfect hit that it didn't kind of like crash the car or damage the car, but I was able to drive back in. I said, sorry guys, I just brushed the wall, until we found out that actually it was more damage as just brushing the wall. In fact, we had to change engine because it broke everything inside. So, but it was the first lesson for me saying, hey, you gotta go out there and you gotta take it easy. It's not just go out there and thinking you're the king of the world. And that was a big lesson for me.
So let's go before 2001. You'd been in kart a few years. Your first win came on the streets of Belle Isle in 2000. You're excited, certainly a big win for Team Penske. You hopped out of the car, and here comes this kid from Brazil, and he starts climbing the fence. What were you thinking at the time, and did you realize that that was going to be your thing moving forward?
Well, that's a very good question. I was not thinking. That's why the climb the fence started, because I was so excited. It was my first ever win, Dave. I mean, imagine when your first win. I knocked on the door a few times in '99 in St. Louis with Carl Hogan. That was like chasing Mike Andretti, which I was like, my goodness, Michael Andretti and I am fighting for the win. How cool is that? So I'm like overwhelmed, there's so many incredible things. And all of a sudden, finally, I finished second in Long Beach that year with Penske. And finally, boom, I got my first break with the win in Detroit, Belle Isle, which was an amazing race. And I was so excited about it that I was supposed to go to the victory circle. But I didn't know where it was. And not only I didn't know where it was, I was so excited because I won the race. I guess my subconsciousness made me park where I parked the year before, which was right at the finish line, which, by the way, my car broke that year. So that's where I parked it. And I'm like, where is everybody? Where is the team? Where is the crew? Where is the TV? So, and all of a sudden I look at my left and it was the crowd going crazy. But they were thinking that I parked to celebrate with them, but I didn't, So obviously, with that feeling, I ended up getting out of the car, going to the fence, start climbing, and then I can see everybody's, what the heck is this guy doing, So, but it was cool. It was cool. It was fun. It was actually Bob Rahal was the president of the kart back then. I remember going to the podium. I was like, why'd you do that? I don't know. I'm sorry. I was like, I know I had to go to the truck.
Apologizing.
And then all the apologies, like, no, we shouldn't. That was a great celebration. So it turned out to be a great way of celebrating. And after that, obviously, everybody saw it when I won in 2001 for many more people to see it. Because back then, I even after that first win, I ended up doing two other ones, which was Mid-Ohio and Laguna Seca.
That's right. And then, of course, in the next year, Roger Penske decides to return to Indy. Which led, of course, to your first victory in 01. But, I mean, that was a huge, huge deal for fans that Roger would bring his team back for the 500. Did you have any idea how big that was? Because you'd been with the team only a couple of years at that point.
Well, I knew it was important for sure because I knew the last time they were there before us was 1995.
95, 96, but yeah.
Which they not qualifying, correct?
Right. Correct.
So I knew that was important because the expectation was really high. Everyone was expecting. In fact, we did our preparation since we were doing kart and IRL back then was born. So we were like, okay, what will we do? So we went to Phoenix to prepare ourselves, and obviously it wasn't a very good result in Phoenix. So everybody was kind of like, throwing rocks at us. Hey, you guys think it's easy, but it was interesting to go there at Indy and do what we did.
Well, and that Phoenix, you mentioned Phoenix, that was the race, the oval that you guys ran and raced at before Indy. And the way I always saw it is that race at Phoenix, maybe you guys didn't fare as well as you would have liked, but that was huge in just getting prepared for the 500, was it not?
Yeah, because you had an issue going to the pits with another car, and I had an issue with an engine because when we were in yellows, I was kind of warming up the tires. In fact, Humor ended up fixing the problem for that race, which made us obviously improve to the 500, having no issues. So, yes, you're right. It was a big preparation. And again, as you know, RP and the entire team Penske, they always prepare for anything that's possible. Preparation is the key to success. That's what he says. And that was a perfect example why we ended up winning the race, first and second, actually, in 2001 because of the preparation.
Yep. As mentioned earlier, we're encouraging fans to go ahead and submit some questions. You can do so in the chat function, I believe, or no? We can't. We have some email that were emailed in earlier, correct? Eric Powell's over here on my side doing a great job. I have some questions that were submitted. Elio will begin from Jenny in Lafayette. And she asks, after the bottle of milk, what would be your favorite drink to have in Victory Lane to celebrate your next Indy 500 win?
Oh my goodness. Well, I want to keep the tradition. I don't want to change. I tell you what.
Not bad.
The way to do it. But I tell you what, champagne would not go wrong. Every time you celebrate, you gotta have a glass of champagne. But I tell you, there is nothing like replacing winning Indy 500 with a glass of milk or a bottle of milk. And I tell you what, I don't know if I believe I'm the one that started pouring the milk in the head. Everybody always just took a sip. I'm the one start pouring. So I see every driver doing that, but it's okay. I'm not gonna charge any royalties. It's okay. You guys can keep it doing what you're doing. It's so
I
good.
think you're right.
I'm gonna do it again.
Even your buddy Tony Kanaan, I mean, everybody has done it since. They take a sip and then they just pour it on top of their head. So
exactly. I did it because I tell you what, I swear to God, I was so happy, and I didn't know what to do it. You know, I already took it. It was actually nice and fresh. I like milk. I have no issue with it. But I was like, man, this is the greatest moment. I can't believe it. Like, and then I start pouring down. It's like, and I close my eyes because why am I doing this? This is milk. You know, it was. Anyway, it was in a moment of celebration. Let me tell you, you do some really awkward things. I guess that was one of them, but turned out to be a nice one too.
All right, so these are pre-submitted questions. So I apologize for those of you trying to get a question in on the chat. These are pre-submitted, but we have a great lineup of questions. Another one is from John in Peoria, Illinois, who wanted to ask, who has been the most valuable teacher to you about driving at Indy and why? You kind of alluded to it earlier, but who has been that guy for you at Indy?
I mean, there's no question, as I mentioned, a few drivers that helped me out to win my first one. But I tell you what, Rick Mears being a key to success for me at Indy. Actually, through the whole races, not only at Indy. I really admire Rick for everything. Sorry, I said Ricky because I spent 3 years with Ricky Taylor, so I'm kind of like get confused sometimes. So, but apologize.
One race team at a time here.
Exactly. But Rick was absolutely a key in all aspects, and it's amazing. Every time we sit down and have a conversation, the stories that he tells us, it's so much wisdom, and I really admire that.
Your second 500, I believe you started 11th, led 52 laps. I'm sorry, no, it was after. I'm jumping ahead a little bit because obviously you go back to back. Was 2002 a different feel for you coming back as a defending champion? What was that like?
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of people are talking about back-to-back. Alan Senior was the last guy who were able to do that, and it was 30 years prior to that win. And I'm like, there was different times. You know, I wasn't saying I'm gonna win. You know, I was confident what I had to do. I wasn't able to accomplish in the setup of the car what I would have to do because obviously 2001 my car was so good, especially when the end of the tank, you know, the half to the end of the tank, my car was super good. But I wasn't able to accomplish that because they did change the surface of the Indianapolis that year. I think they put some grooves, so it was wearing a little bit different. Yeah, so it was a little bit of changing, obviously. Again, you know, sometimes you think you know everything. You just Indianapolis throws a curveball at you. And I have to say, I was not very happy. So I qualified 11. We were just having tremendous push. I was about 1 point to be a lap down. And Tony Kanaan was actually about to lap me. And interesting fact during the race, as I was driving, Bruno Junqueira, which was with Ganassi, he blew up the engine right in front of me, and me and Michael was right together, and we almost crashed. And I even said to the radio, "Be careful! Turn 3, it was somebody blew an engine. Be careful!" Because I knew Gilles was ahead of me, and unfortunately Tony was leading the race and ended up getting the oil and crashed. But just to show that I was not having a very good weekend, but as soon as Cindric, which was my strategy. Tim Cindric, president of Team Penske.
Yeah.
He saw an opportunity, you know, on the pits, and we decided not to pit while everybody did it. So that helped me to put me to the lead. But I did have to have a little bit of a luck, about a couple of laps of yellow, and I had to save fuel through the whole stint, which was interesting because between me and the other guys, I have 2 back markers, which was Dario Franchitti and Kenny Brett. And what happened is I ended up letting them by, so kind of like saving fuel, like Dario by, saving fuel, and they realized that I was doing. They're like, no, get out of the way because we need to win the race. Right. So, and that will happen. And then when Tracy came, I was like, all right, now let's stop playing games here. We gotta go full throttle and buy my I guess destiny. The yellow came in, and going to turn 3, as soon as I saw the yellow light and they screamed yellow, I was like, lift off. And then Tracy and Hornish and Giafone, everybody started passing. I'm like, what's going on? It's a yellow, isn't it? It's a yellow. And the radio just communicating me, just make sure you finish. Make sure you finish. It was yellow. Make sure you finish. And then we finished, and it was an incredible feat, no question.
It was a crazy finish, and it was eventually ruled, yes, you were ahead of PT, Paul Tracy, when the caution came out. And just like that, you're suddenly a 2-time Indy 500 champ, first back-to-back in some 30 years, and first to win the first 2 races of the 500.
And if you may interrupt, Dave, I only realized that there was some sort of dispute at the press conference, because I hear people saying like, oh, okay, so he passed you on the yellow, or actually was a green. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. You guys are suggesting that he passed me outside in turn 3 with 2 laps to go? No, wait. You guys, wait a minute. There was not a chance. We would have crashed, but there was not a chance that he would have passed me outside in turn 3. So I was very surprised that a lot of people was kind of like telling, no, trying to understanding nobody has all the data back then. And I would have done the same thing what Paul Tracy did. I would have just, right. I would pass. I'm going to continue going. But in the end of the day, if you see the data and the adjustments that were made, there was no way that they would have. I would be extremely disappointed if they would have turned out the other way.
Was the second win any bigger than the first, or?
Well, it turned out to be, because there was such a big deal, of the 30 years. I couldn't believe it. In my first 2 tries, I ended up winning the Indianapolis 500. I was like, I remember going to the David Letterman show, and it's like, okay, so now you think every time you're going to go there, you're going to win. It's like, well, so far it's working for me.
2 for 2, can't be better than that.
2 for 2, you can't, So it was a big deal. I was very, I could not believe it. It was an incredible moment for sure.
I mean, heck, even the next year, you started from pole, you led 58 laps. And if it wasn't for your teammate DeFerrin, you would have been a 3-time champion. DeFerrin won, you were in second.
Dave, let me tell you, every time we talk about 2003, I have to say, it was an incredible, my car was absolutely perfect. I was driving, I don't know if you guys can see me. I was driving with one hand and the other one, let me go the other way around, and the other one on the side of the cockpit. I was like, cruising, having a good time, Sunday drive. I was like,
you're changing the CDs and the CD player.
Yes. Back then was CDs still, so the car was so good, so incredibly well set up. We led a lot, and unfortunately, 40 laps to go, we got a back mark in turn 2. And I let it by, and my car was good, but unfortunately, yellow kept coming, and you just had a clean air, and it's not like today that we have a lot of a draft. Back then, it was very hard to get the draft. Mm-hmm. So, if it would be like today, no question would be a big swapping position, but I couldn't pass him, and he did a great job.
Hey, how much? I don't think I've ever asked you this. How much did DeFerrin, certainly in those days, help you or help the team? Because you guys, obviously, you're 2 totally different personalities. You're very, very emotional. You wear your emotions on your sleeve. Gilles is very analytical, things like an engineer would. And I would think putting you 2 together, you picked up where he left off and vice versa. It was probably a pretty good pair, wasn't it?
Was, no question. The way I learned with Gilles was absolutely the other side, the technical part, mm-hmm. How to not only thinking about you got to go fast. No, you gotta to go fast. You gotta put yourself a little bit here and there to make sure that you get there. So it was a different format, different process, and I learned a lot. No question. In many of the meetings, my meeting used to last about 5 minutes. Gilles was about an hour. I'm like, okay, everything he has, oh God, again, please just put everything. So it was an incredible, atmosphere, because we're pushing hard each other. Don't get me wrong. We're really pushing. Sometimes I'm like, hey man, you were a little too close. Just no, take it easy. And he says the same way. So it was a great duel, no question.
That's wonderful. The engineer meetings lasted a little longer with DeFerrin.
You know what I'm talking about.
That's great. That's great. Again, we're going through some questions that were sent in earlier. This is from Lee in Pendleton, Indiana. And Lee asks, who outside of racing has most influenced you to be the man you are today?
Well, I have to say my dad. My dad is one of the guys that maybe he gets mad when I say that, but I think it's true. He's like a frustrated race car driver. He never had the opportunity to be. He always felt he was a sales car and then a great business guy, but never was a race car driver. And but even through my young ages, he never, even though we didn't, in racing it's a very expensive sport, and sometimes you don't have what you can give, but everything that he was trying to do was the best of his ability. And I saw that, and I took that away. Okay, that's the best I have, so let's take the best out of this. And I think with this attitude, that's what I took it, all the way. I don't care what it is. And people sometimes, that's why you're fake positive. And say, no, I try to see the best position as well. Don't get me wrong, I get upset too. I get nervous. I get, all the way, like any human being emotions have. But my dad, maybe he didn't teach me that way, or maybe he showed me that way. You know what I'm saying? So I really admire that. So he made it who I am, no question, in all aspects, obviously. But he's the guy that I wanna be to my daughter, for example, and hopefully I can follow his steps.
Dads mean everything for sure. Didn't you give one of your 500 rings to him?
Yeah, he has one of my rings, and one of my trophy also is down there with my folks in Brazil.
That's pretty cool. And I know your dad helped you get through a lot, certainly growing up and otherwise. So we won't get into all that, but I know he means a world to you. So speaking of little Michaela, how's she doing? How old is she now, for crying out loud?
She's 11 years old. Thanks for asking. She's absolutely growing. As I said, we're here in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where Adriana's family are from, and we had a little break. So we drove all the way here. And it's amazing how you see these little creatures, start developing and start making. Now she's talking like a teenager. She's only 11, but she is talking like a teenager. But that's life. You got to keep it going and see what happens.
Well, when you start getting in the teenage years, Helio, then you start dealing with boys, boyfriends, other things. And I know your hair is not gray yet, but as soon as that happens, it will turn gray, my friend.
I tell you, already dealing with a little fella named KC. I don't know who he is, but I heard about it. And anyway, let's see what happens. But I know, I was like, KC, huh? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to be a cool dad, but it sounds like, okay, what's going on here? But I know at this stage, it's just like.
Here's the ultimate irony. What if Casey is like a fan of the Indianapolis 500 and realizes that Michaela's father is Elio Castroneves?
Good question. I don't know. Florida, yeah, might be a possibility. Who knows?
All right. All right. So back to the 500, shall we?
Please.
Another front row start in 06, another pole in 07. Were you feeling like a rock star at the time? Top 5 in points in the series those years. Won 4 times the IndyCar series in 06. You were rolling, man. You were making this thing look easy.
It was a great combination, changing engineers, and also not only that, but we were able to keep it in a great system. Back then, and then we have Sam Hornish with us. He was an incredible guy in terms of the ovals. Sam was actually one of those guys that in a desperate situation, he was a master, you know, coming out of this situation, a winner. It was absolutely, I was like mesmerized. So I'm trying to, you know, understand what does he do, you know, what way he does it. And he definitely another guy that I learned as a teammate to find those areas. And also he was really, really great in the ovals as well. So start, you know, working together and with Brian Briscoe as well, which to this day an incredible friend. But no question, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling confident, understanding, doing my homework to make sure that I every time go back to the Speedway knows what I like, and car is pretty much similar to, you know, what I understand that needs to be done, and that's probably why we're putting all the bits together and doing well.
And then I'll move ahead to 2007, and something came along called Dancing with the Stars. Your partner was Julianne Hough. What did you make of that experience that you had?
My goodness. It was well, first of all, I can't thank enough everyone from Indianapolis, because without their votes, their support, I would not be able to win that competition. And by the way, I don't know if you know, back then, it was the #1 show on the final. It was the #1 show on ABC.
It was huge. Yeah.
It was huge. So it was cool. It was certainly I was not expecting to win. I am a competitive guy, but I was kind of like, my goal is to not be eliminated first. That was my expectation. But you know what? In fact, I packed my bags only for 15 days because that's what I thought how long I would last show. And I ended up staying for a whole entire month. So imagine every time I was going to those, you know, e-shows, Access Hollywood, I was wearing the same jacket until one point they said, like, look, you might be thinking about buying another jacket because we saw you last week and you have the same jacket again and again and again. So, but it was incredible. Julianne was absolutely if you're thinking about a team, she was a team Penske. You know, she was no question. We connect on that aspect, and she was able to tell me what to do, push me around, and hey, we got the trophy.
Well, and no fan will ever forget that, you know, that bright yellow banana suit, the wide brimmed hat, and then, you know, and then you actually won the mirrored ball trophy. Do you still have that at your home?
Absolutely, it's in my closet. In fact, I had to sign a form that when they because I had to do all the performing, you know, like for sponsors. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I asked them, can I have it? It's like, well, we have to sign a form that you're not going to sell. I was like, why am I going to sell? Why am I going to give? It's my measurement. Well, you know, it's like, well, okay, well, if somebody wants to offer $1 million, then we think about it. You know,
that's
but
right.
Right now, it's going to be here because it's such a part of my life.
I mean, not to give everybody a peek behind the curtain, but this was the early days of Dancing with the Stars. And I know this because I was working at the ABC affiliate in Indianapolis, so I would come out and cover you a couple of times, and I was there for the finals. And I remember looking at the trophy, and on TV, it looks like this, you know, magnificent piece that's sculpted by, you know, the most renowned artist in the world. And then you take a really close look at it, and like the pieces of the mirror are like glued together, and like the word Dancing with the Stars, it's like hung on with tape and string, and you're like, wait a minute, that's the trophy?
It's still like that. Let me tell you, it is not very finesse. They did change later on. I mean, the how it is.
Yes.
But it was.
Okay, I thought that was just me. The first time I'm like, well, wait a minute, that, you know. But I mean,
you're right. Every time they go my home, and they see like, oh, this is the trophy. Huh? It's like, let's move along. Let's go see the Indy 500 trophy.
But I mean, that was a blast. Think about it. You were in magazines. You were a correspondent for Entertainment Tonight for a while. You did the All-Star version of Dancing with the Stars a couple years later. It was a great run. Can you still dance if you had to, or no? Do you still remember that?
You're pushing a little bit, you know. I can probably do some moves, you know, dropping the coffee move or things, but that's it. It will be a little bit rough right now.
You and Hinch both. Hinch still says he can't dance a lick, that he could, rehearse and figure out how to do the moves, but after that, nothing.
Yeah, muscle memory is still great. And it was, for me, it was great to come back in 2012 with Chelsea Hightower, which is a sweetheart. To this day, we're still in touch. And then go back a little bit with the Hinch, to do a little bit. And he did a phenomenal job just to show that IndyCar drivers are pretty quick with their feet. So I was very happy that he did an amazing job. You
and Julianne stay in touch at all?
We lost the contact. Last time I probably was some racing in I think it was Long Beach that we did together, but that's it.
Gotcha. Jump ahead, 2009. Back here at Indy, you won pole again, and you had, we kind of alluded to it, you had some things in your life that kind of went haywire, but you won the 500 again in a very emotional setting. How did that win mean everything to you and your family that day? Because I dare say, I don't think I recall you ever being as emotional as you were in 2009 when you finally got win number 2.
Yeah, no, you absolutely right, Dave. And then I remember seeing you, especially on those. I understand you have to cover, obviously, but I saw Dave Calabro right there in those courtrooms. That was really, really tough for me to accept something that, what happened was really rough, and especially when you don't understand what they're talking about. So, but once everything resolved, first of all, going through that was super difficult because you don't know what's going to happen to your life. And for me, it was more like, I gotta keep racing. This is my life. This is the air that I breathe. You can't take that away from me. And obviously, when we got back to racing, it was wow, this is crazy. And when I got the pole position in 2009, a lot of people don't know that, but that's when Adriana said, like, I'm pregnant, and I'm like, wait a minute. Yesterday, you didn't say anything, and today you're pregnant. How come? I'm not quite following it. So it was really cool because it was a beginning of something for my life, basically. And when we crossed the finish line, this little movie passed through. I remember exactly everything. Team didn't. My car was good too, not as good as 2003, but it was very similar. And I remember, all right, only if I screw this up, that I'm not gonna win. And we have some issues with the pit stops, and then we end up going to 6. And I remember my team, probably a third to last pit stop. We jumped from 6th to 2nd, and Dixon was leading the race. And I remember when the restart, I passed him, and I said, I'm not gonna look back. And that's it, boom. And I think Ryan was in a different strategy, and Cindric was in the rear. You gotta save you. I'm not gonna save you because if a yellow comes in, he's gonna be leading. No, he's in a different strategy. So it was a big argument in the radio, and but we end up obviously in a position that when I knew I opened up a gap. I think it was Danica and Weldon was fighting towards the end when the last restart, and I'm kind of like helping each one so that I want them to fight so that I keep going. They don't get my draft, and it worked. I opened about 2-3 seconds, and it was just a matter of like, okay, hit the white line, make sure you do the corner, don't look at. Keep it going. When we crossed the finish line, there was this little movie going through my head. I mean, I can't believe I was thinking that I was going to be here, and now I'm here. And Roger, Mike Szymanski from Philip Morris was there. I just thanking them to give, my opportunity, my life back. And it was absolutely a storybook, and it was great. So for me, this is the ring that I use. And hopefully replace by the end of May this year, and with a new one.
That's pretty sharp. Put that up there, because there's a ring that is awarded to every driver, but this is the more traditional ring that
Correct.
We see some of the champions wear. And I know a lot of champions that are still racing don't wear theirs and won't until after they retire, but that's a pretty special piece there, man.
Yeah, this one is, as you mentioned, Martin Andretti, Rick Mears, all these incredible legends.
Yeah, Darrell's got
they use this, and because they're really smooth here, and they're not like tall like the other one. Rick actually used the big one, the one which is the shape of the racetrack. It's really cool. It's awesome. And in fact, all of them were gold, and I ended up doing a white gold. And now you see black gold, black, and Tony ended up changing his. And then, but it's a fun way to show. One when I was traveling, one lady is like, "What is that?" Is that? I was like, "Look, you're thinking something wrong here. No, I'm not pimp here. I'm not. Relax. This is a race checker flag. Oh, okay. Oh, you're racing. I was like, yeah, checker flag. Nobody's racing. But anyway, it was really cool to see that people recognize that.
Oh, did you say I'm not a pimp? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, because she was looking with me like,
okay, all right.
Kind of like, kind of like something bad. I was like, no. I'm a good guy. Trust me. I'm a good guy.
That's good. All right, so you had a couple other really good chances to win your fourth, namely in 2014, you and that great battle between yourself and Ryan Hunter-Reay. And in 2017, you came close, finished right behind Takuma Sato. I've heard drivers and really other athletes all tell me, and no matter whatever sport they're in, they don't remember the wins as much as sometimes you remember the losses. Or things that I wish I could, if I would go back, I would have done this or done that. Or sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night, you're thinking about stuff. Is that the case for you?
Absolutely. Well, I just mentioned 2003 and 14 was not different. In fact, again, my car was, there are some years you like click it. And when you click it, you absolutely on rails. And that year was one of those, and I remember RP till this day is like, "Oh, you let him by." I said, "RP, how am I letting him by in turn 3? Oh, he went right into the inside of you." I said, "RP, he went through the grass. How am I open the door? He went through the grass. That's how he passed me." But anyway, that wasn't. I said I still able to pass him after that. Unfortunately, it was an absolutely an incredible losing by 600 of a second. If actually I did it that year, if you grab your cell phone and when you go to the watch and the stopwatch, try to get 600 in your finger. It is very difficult. So I totally suggest everyone to try. That's how much I lost the race for Hunter-Reay. He did a good job, but that was a close one. And with Takuma, man, Honda was on rails. I mean, everyone is blowing engine that year except Takuma, of course, and but he did an amazing job. He was on it. He was absolutely on it. It took him a half a lap to pass me, and it took me a lap and a half. So it was just a little too short, unfortunately, but it was a tough one.
This year, to switch gears a little bit, no pun intended, driving for Mears Shank Racing, 6 races this season in the NTT IndyCar Series, a few more than you've had the last couple of years, but still going back, of course, to the Indy 500. How excited are you to get back into IndyCar a little bit here this year?
I'm very much excited because not only it's new and a young team. Mike is a good friend. Actually, he is the one that gave me the first 24 hours race opportunity in 2007. He's like, come over to race with me. It was me and Sam, and we didn't have a good experience because the car, unfortunately, we had an issue. But it was introducing for me to those kind of things, and we kept in touch since then. And now, having this amazing opportunity with him, with Jim Meyer and Jack Harvey, which I can see an incredible potential. I guarantee he's going to be a race winner this year at Indy and at IndyCar Series. So looking forward, because there was all this, incredible possibilities, incredible potential, and obviously myself to able to do everything I did for over 20 years with Team Penske and now rejuvenate with a new team. So my crew chief is Matt Swan, which I worked with him in 1999. Look at that. So we reunited after so many years away, but we always kept in touch. So there was so many incredible things. Adam, which is also the team manager there, is doing a phenomenal job. So I'm just learning with everyone. And I can't wait. I can't wait to start working with Jack and, start talking about racing. Honda, obviously, I worked 3 years with Acura, the last 3 years with Acura, and now back with Honda. So now, oh man, it's hard for me just to describe how excited I am. I actually keep telling to Jay Fry, and I was like, come on, I need to test. I need to go back. No, you do it. No, I'm still on my way, you know. I see Jimmy Johnson back in. He's testing every day. Why I'm not able to test either? So it was kind of like this thing. But hopefully, I can't wait to be at Indianapolis with a new team for sure.
You know, all told, not to close the book on Team Penske, but all told, 20 years for that group, man, and that is a tremendous run. And it was commemorated last December, just a couple months ago, when you were named to, and I'm going to mess this up, but the Team Penske was a Hall of Fame. And they surprised you with that. Tell us what happened. And that is I mean, you think of any Hall of Fame as being pretty cool, but then you're a member of the Team Penske Hall of Fame. That's like a whole nother level, man.
No, I never, obviously, I saw a lot of incredible guys. Mark Donohue was the first one, and then you have Dan Luganville, and you're like, I mean, these are key players in this incredible team, in this incredible organization. And I thought we were going to have a sort of a Zoom situation.
Yeah.
Saying goodbye to the employees, 500 plus employees, you know, with Team Penske, and say goodbye. Thank you, everyone. Winning the championship with the IMSA. So I'm like, hey, it's going to be fun. And all of a sudden they're like, all right, you're a new member of the Hall of Fame. I'm like, whoa, stop the madness. Are you guys sure you got the right guy? You know, so, because are you sure? I mean, a lot of people don't understand my English, and I'm in a Hall of Fame. What's going on? So, absolutely stunned. You know, I can't thank enough Roger for everything he did in my life. He's the guy that I look out for, because he's not only an incredible success businessman, team owner, but one thing that really stands out for me, which is the passion about racing. He has passion for racing. Like he is the most powerful man I know that could be doing anything, and he's right there with us in racing. And that for me says a lot about how much he loved, you know, and in fact, he owns the Speedway, and the series just show that he really loved. So this is, for me, is absolutely an imaginary achievement, and I cannot thank enough for the entire organization for allowing me to be part of this amazing.
As emotional as you are, I'm going to guess there may have been a couple tears.
Well, we you know, because I'm not with Team Penske anymore, so I'm like, okay, now we're cutting loose, we can start drinking. So we start drinking, and all of a sudden we're like, it's hot chocolate, you know, joking around, and they're like, okay, and I'm like, let me take a little more sip of this, you know. So it was so awesome. I mean, wow, I still can't believe it.
All right, not to bury the lead here. Just 10 days ago, the Rolex 24. You mentioned Wayne Taylor Racing. I mean, you're in your 40s now, mid 40s.
Hey! I'm in the prime.
You're doing just fine, man. You're doing just fine.
I'm in the prime of my career, brother. I'm still moving. Look at me. Up out of the picture. Up, you know.
Oh, if I did that, I'd throw out my back.
Let me say, man, what an incredible achievement as well. Okay, when Roger decided to go to the IMSA program with Acura, it was great. And obviously start putting new goals. And one of the goals was winning the Rolex 24 hours. And when, unfortunately, we won the championship, but we ended up not winning that. And when Taylor decided to, carry on with me, Ricky Taylor, and Alex Rossi, new member was Felipe Albuquerque. So we're like, you know what, this is perfect match. Same car, same everything. And so we were super excited. And it was incredible. Wayne is, I'm not, a lot of people might not know him, but he's also another person that's passionate about racing.
Yeah.
He has his entire family, Ricky and Jordan, really involved in racing. So it's the guy that it's right there, racing. And it was a lot of fun working with him and the entire group. And man, but when we crossed the finish line, it was, oh my God. And again, I say that, and I told Cindric and the entire Penske that they were part of it, because we spent 3 years learning the car, understanding, and all of a sudden with a new team right there winning, big credit for the team, but we knew what we need to do as well, right? And it was a combination of those key ingredients to win. But man, I tell you, I never had a Rolex. This is the first time, and I love it. I love it.
Well done. That was cool. It was cool to see you celebrate, even during COVID times, and there wasn't a lot of people in Victory Lane, but it was cool to see you guys celebrate that. All right, we'll wrap things up with some more questions that have been sent in. This one's from Missy in Elmhurst, Illinois. And she says, hi, Elio. What is your favorite street course, road course, and oval? There's a lot, I guess. Not including IMS, and why? Maybe your favorite street course, real quickly. What is that?
Favorite street course, Detroit.
And favorite road course?
Favorite road course, I'm between Barber and Laguna.
Yeah, those are both pretty good. And favorite oval, non-Indy related?
Favorite oval, Milwaukee was awesome. I love it. And Nazareth. I really like the short oval. Nazareth was really cool too. Richmond was not bad either. So it's hard to give one.
Wait a minute. There's Homestead. There's Fontana.
Phoenix. Don't forget Phoenix. I really like
Texas. There's okay. Anyway.
Oh, Texas! I won 4 times there. Of course, Texas.
I'm here for you. Next one, Charlie in Carmel asks, how did it feel to finally win Daytona? We talked a little bit about that, but that's a pretty, you think about it, you won at Indianapolis, you won at Daytona. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Checking that box. That's how you feel.
Next one from Kyle, also in Carmel. He asks, what's the biggest difference in driving a Daytona prototype to an Indy car?
Well, Daytona prototype, first of all, you got to compromise the seat, because you obviously have different drivers. It does have a little more downforce because, the wheels are covered. Power-wise, a little bit less compared to the IndyCar. The car is a little bit heavier. And you have power steering wheels. So it's a little bit, if the fuel in high speed, especially the car is heavy, you can actually help with the power steering wheel. So IndyCar does not have that. So become a little more different. And I tell you, I'm excited to go back because I like to feel, the car without a little bit of help. And so I'm excited for that too.
And the last one, this is from Paul in Phoenix, another warmer locale than Indianapolis right now. But anyway, he says, what do you miss most about Brazil? And what are the main differences there versus the U.S. when it comes to developing up and coming racing talent?
Well, in Brazil, no question, I would say the passion about racing, Brazil really enjoy it. They it's not about only the team owners, but the way we treated race cars is like, this is it. This is our last opportunity. Just like a lady, that's it. This is my lady, and not changing for anything else. I miss that kind of that. But honestly, I've been so long here in America that I really admire the fan base, especially in Indianapolis. They are really able to keep me going. I remember many times, sometimes you're a little bit, frustrated because the car's not doing well or something like that, but you see someone asking autograph or take a picture. It's kind of like a reset button. Hey, this is why you're here. So for me, it's I really care about that. And with this COVID, it's been tough because you don't have that very often. However, thank for the, Twitter, Instagram, and all the Zooms that we're doing, because this keep us at least in touch, even though we don't see. It's like faith, but you feel the energy, you feel the positive, and that makes me keep it going.
Well, you think about it, 20 years into this here at Indy, you and your buddy Tony Kanaan have been through the wars together coming up, and were once teammates living in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
And there for a while you weren't maybe great friends. You grew apart a little bit, but then recently have come back together as friends once again. And the two of you really fed off one another and pushed one another. And I think that says a great deal about the two of you, A, and B, just how competitive both of you have been, because without one another, I would dare say that maybe one or neither one of you guys would be where you are today.
I would say Tony's like a brother that I never had. At the same time, we love each other. We did have times we hate each other, but it doesn't mean that we respect each other. And I tell you what, over the years, as we're growing up, becoming a family head or the head of the family, it is no question we becoming closer and closer. And Tony, for me, is like I said, I follow a lot. What does he do? You know, outside, inside the race car, which is, you gotta have that kind of parameter, you know. And I can't believe it. Till this day, both of us still succeeding, still pushing it. And again, yes, you gotta have some sort of a competitor in your life, a friend, a person that it's not related to your family, but you related to him, and Tony's one of them.
Yeah, it's a cool story that you guys are still very much a part of the story. Okay, last question. You talked about your daughter, Michaela, who's now 11. What would be your best advice to your daughter, if you could give her some, that she would actually listen to? Because my daughters don't listen to me. But, you know, anyway, if you're going to say, hey, do this and your life will be good, what would that advice be, Elio?
I always tell her, you know, tomorrow's another day. If today didn't work out the way you wanted, tomorrow will be better. And I tell her that every night. In fact, I say, look, if you want to be a champion, I'm not talking about in any sport, but a champion in life, you got to act like one. And hopefully with that advice that I gained, you know, or I had from in the past, hopefully I can pass through that, and she can go. And I tell her, forget about KC, and just KC is not in the picture anymore. Sorry, I couldn't resist on that one. Just joking, everyone. KC, I'm just joking. You know, make sure you give her flowers. If you give her flowers, you'll be all good, okay? But anyway, so.
It is Valentine's Day coming up on Sunday. Just a thought.
Oh boy, I forgot about my wife's birthday.
Oh my! Anyway. I just aged you another 5 years when it comes to that. Hey, thanks so much for doing this. This has been tremendous, man. I don't think you and I have spent so much time together like this.
I know. I tell you what, that was a lot of fun. I was a little worried that I was going to be here in Atlanta, and normally I would like a nice set with the trophies behind. It would be really cool. I can see people who really admire. But I'm sorry about the apple.
That's nice. And a daisy, yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that. But anyway, but hopefully, I had a great time. Hope you guys have too.
I kind of like my multi-million-dollar backdrop myself.
I can't beat that. That is incredible. And I will see that one in May. Can't wait to have another face on that one.
20 Indy 500 starts. He'll be back for 21 this coming May, driving the 06 Honda from Meyer Shank Racing. Can't wait to see you back in Indianapolis. Thank you very much, Elio Castroneves.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, buddy. And we hope you enjoyed this IMS Museum Zoomcast. And on behalf of the museum staff, thank you so much for attending. Just a reminder that if you would like to support the museum by becoming a member or donating, all you got to do is visit www.indyracingmuseum.org and click on Join and Give. And if you'd like to take a tour of the IMS Oval and see the automotive treasures in the museum's basement, just reach out to us via email, tours, T-O-U-R-S, tours@brickyard.com. Don't forget as well to fill out the survey you'll receive from Zoom and tell us how we can make these events better and better, and visit our YouTube channel as well. Hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified when tonight's show is posted online. And last but not least, we hope you'll join us for our next IMS Museum Zoomcast on Wednesday, March 3rd, featuring, drum roll please, 5-time Brickyard 400 champ Jeff Gordon with Fox NASCAR and ARCA series broadcaster Jamie Little hosting. That'll be excellent. Again, it's coming up Wednesday, March 3rd, and we'll make an announcement with registration information coming up very soon. Again, our thanks to Elio Castroneves, and thank you, the fans, for joining us tonight. Good night from the IMS Museum.